So this week has been declared as World Breastfeeding Week on the theme, Prioritizing Breastfeeding, Create Sustainable Support System. On today's Update in Focus, we're joined by two women, one from the Ghana Health Service and one from UNICEF, who are well versed when it comes to breastfeeding. Let's take a look at their profiles. Dr. Annette Imohe is a medical doctor who leads the nutrition program at UNICEF Ghana. With over 15 years of experience working in multiple countries, Dr. Imohe brings deep expertise to her leadership in child nutrition and plays a key role in shaping Ghana's nutrition agenda by raising awareness on pressing issues like child food poverty and malnutrition. Today, she's here to share insights on UNICEF's efforts to strengthen breastfeeding support systems, nutrition policy, and community-level actions that help every child thrive. On today's Update in Focus, we also have Faustina Vemareba Tor, who is the National Program Manager of the Micronutrients Deficiency Control Program at the Family Health Division of the Ghana Health Service. Her 20-year career with the Ghana Health Service began as a nurse, but her passion for nutrition led her to a pivotal shift. Witnessing the profound impact of poor nutrition, she transitioned from clinical care to public health, gaining expertise that would eventually place her at the forefront of a national program. Today, she leverages her clinical background and passion to lead a country-wide effort to combat micronutrient deficiencies, a testament to her dedication to improving public health in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into today's episode of Update in Focus. Thank you, ladies, once again for joining us on the news updates. Going right into our very first question for the Breastfeeding Week. The theme for this year is Prioritizing Breastfeeding, Create Sustainable Support Systems. Now, in the context of Ghana, what does this actually look like, and how can we make these systems last?
So we are talking about ensuring that we have structures in place that will protect, promote, and support breastfeeding over time. And the emphasis here is over time, so that we are able to sustain it. So we are looking at empowering our health staff so that they have the knowledge and skills to support our mothers, ensuring that our health facilities become and then, sustain baby-friendly and mother-friendly practices in the health facilities. We are looking at the community supporting the mothers to breastfeed, ensuring that we empower the communities to with the right information, and also ensuring that the workplaces, we have policies in place so that mothers, when they go to their workplaces, either formal workplaces or informal workplaces, they do have support to breastfeed. And ensuring that we have accurate information on breastfeeding and the support, so that when mothers decide to breastfeed, they would have all that they need and they will do it effectively.
Now, Dr. Annette, despite the growing awareness of exclusive breastfeeding, the rate in Ghana has remained at 52.6%. What do you think it is right now, and what are the real changes? Now, Dr. Annette, despite the growing awareness on exclusive breastfeeding, the rates in Ghana have remained at 52.6%. Why do you think that is it now? And also, what are the real challenges that some Ghanaian mothers face?
Yeah, so Ghana has made some progress in the last 10 years to get up to this 52.6%, but we find that it has been hovering around this in the last few years. And if we continue at the rate of progress that Ghana is making, it's unlikely that Ghana will meet the set international goals to attain exclusive breastfeeding. This is important because it has implications for the Ghanaian population. And so it is important that we identify and address the barriers or challenges that prevent mothers from exclusively breastfeeding. The challenges exist at multiple levels. If we think at, first of all, the individual level, the mother herself, she may not have the right knowledge or skills to be able to exclusively breastfeed. And this is, because she hasn't received the right systems, even from pregnancy, to ensure that she's equipped to breastfeed. In certain cases, you may have maternal illness. The mother may be ill and unable to breastfeed, which, is not as often the case. If we move one step further, we move to her family, within her family or her immediate setup around her. She's influenced by her husband, her mother, the grandmother, the mother-in-law. And from all these people, if she's not getting adequate support, spousal support, she needs adequate rest. Is there somebody to hold the baby so she can, you know, take a nap? Because, you know, that all contributes to her ability to produce adequate breast milk. You have a lot of influence in a lot of cases from the older women within the family who, you know, have their own myths, their own stories of what they did when they had babies that in some cases go against breastfeeding. They may encourage you to give herbal concoctions. They may encourage you to give water, saying the baby's thirsty, or saying you can't give the baby just breast milk for 6 months. You have to add something else in between. And of course, this is who she leans to. This is who she defers to for her guidance. So all that structures around can be dissuading her from exclusively breastfeeding. Now, if we look within the community that she lives in, there are certain social norms or myths that may prevent her from exclusively breastfeeding. You hear stories around, you can't breastfeed for too long, if not your breast will fall. You hear that if the baby is crying, then the baby must be hungry. You know, you hear even the aspiration of giving breast milk substitutes and making it seem aspirational is something that some mothers may want to associate with, which dissuades them from exclusively breastfeeding. Now, if we look at the institutional level, we find that starting with the health system, for example, you find that a lot of health facilities are not adequately staffed. And so the health workers available are not able to give the counseling for breastfeeding at the intensity that is required for the mother to be well informed and equipped to breastfeed. Also, some of the health workers, not only about the time, may also not have the adequate skill to be able to interact with the mother to support her effectively. Also, within workplaces, in a lot of workplaces, there isn't the adequate structure to support a mother. First of all, in terms of her maternity leave, the time she gets off work, or even when she returns, what structures are in place to encourage her to be able to continue exclusively breastfeed.
As you were speaking, I think you did highlight two things I want us to get into a little more. You mentioned spousal support. For some people, they will say, it's not a man producing the breast milk. So I mean, how am I the one supposed to support my wife during breastfeeding? Can you highlight some of the things that partners can do, like the husbands can do to support their wives during breastfeeding?
Yes, let's start off by saying breastfeeding is everybody's job. It's everybody's business. We're all in this together. Yeah. We cannot leave it to the mother alone. She needs the support. And the husband can support in multiple ways. One, being present and encourage, even going with her, starting from antenatal care, being there with her, making that decision with her, agreeing together that we're going to exclusively breastfeed. So even way before the baby is born, you can start being intentional and present in making the choices for what you're going to feed your baby. When the mother, after having a baby, the mother is overwhelmed as well. It is a lot of work for a new mother dealing with a newborn and having an extra pair of hands to help to support with other chores around the house. So actually they tell you when the baby is sleeping, you sleep. How can you sleep if the food is not cooked or if the dishes are not washed?
Or even if you have other kids you need to attend to.
Or there are other kids to attend to, yes. So stepping up the role that she would usually have done within the house, and you as the partner in the house taking up more of those responsibilities will be a great help for her, because that means when the baby sleeps, she can actually sleep, knowing that other things are taken care of. A simple word of encouragement, sometimes it's all it takes for a woman to keep going. My wife, well done. You're doing well. Keep going. See how our baby is looking healthy. A little, so it's not anything big. It's being intentional and being present.
You did highlight some myth that you, when you're talking about when it comes to the community, that I want us to touch a little bit deeper on. For some people, they say, if I'm not producing enough, now it's a time for me to supplement that with water. Why is it wrong to give your baby water? Because in recent times, we've seen in the news where people have lost their babies because we're giving them water at a stage where they weren't supposed to. What is it about water with babies that do not go well?
Yeah.
So we see that the breast milk contains all the water the baby needs. And if you breastfeed on demand, the baby would have all the water that it needs, would have all the food, all the nutrients. So there's no need to give water. So we need to be able to empower our women to have the knowledge, the skill to breastfeed. And we keep on stressing demand. It means that you have to give to the baby as much as the baby.
I was about to ask that.
Yes.
In terms of demand, is there like an hourly ratio that you have to breastfeed your child? Is there particular, because I know as they grow, it is mentioned that their tummies also grow, that it can take more.
Yes.
So in the demand, is there a timing to that?
So we are looking at averagely, in a day, 8 or more.
Okay.
But it depends on the baby. Sometimes the baby would need it. Some of them, it depends on their suckling, reflexes and all that. It depends on the particular situation. So as and when the baby needs, you give the, and then we talk about emptying one breast at a time before going to the other. So it's all about supporting, the woman to be able to do it. I think as mothers, we have experienced it, we've done it. We know other mothers who have done similar thing, and then the children are always okay if you are able to breastfeed.
Let's bust some more myths before we get back into the conversation. One we hear a lot is small breasts produce less milk. Is there any truth in this?
No, there's absolutely no truth to that.
There's no truth to that.
The breasts are anatomically designed to be able to produce breast milk, and as long as the right suckling reflex is there to stimulate production, they will produce breast.
Another one, some people believe that after 6 months, breast milk loses its nutritional value. What is the science behind that? Is there any science behind that?
Well, so after 6 months, the breast milk do have some nutrients, but not adequate for the child. That is when we say that you should add complementary food. So for example, you have energy, vitamin A, and also there are some gaps. But breast milk still contains significant nutrients that you need to feed to the child.
So at this stage, maybe the problem is not the breast milk. The problem is the change. The child has outgrown that need. And
that is why some people also start introducing solids to the children at 6 months.
That will be ideal. Yes.
Talk about family.
Also, is it true that mothers with flat or inverted nipples cannot breastfeed successfully? Is it true?
It is not. They need support.
They need support.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, some say breastfeeding causes breasts to sag. Is breastfeeding really to blame for, or it is something else?
No,
it's not.
Breastfeeding is not to blame for this. Even a woman who hasn't breastfeed, as you age, your connective tissue, starts losing its structure and collagen that keeps it up, and you'll likely see drooping. And it's not only about breast tissue; even your facial structures, you start seeing. Yes.
And the last myth we'll be busting. It says that culturally, some people think formula is a sign of wealth or modern parenting. How do we shift that mindset while respecting choices?
So as we, talked about earlier, breast milk is such that it is tailored towards your child's needs. Immediately the child is born, the first milk that comes contains a lot of nutrients to ensure that they have a lot of, support for their system. Let me put it that way. You have antibodies that will help them. You have all the things that will help their digestive system to perform well, and then for them to grow very well. As they grow, breast milk is such that it will give them the required nutrients. It is even, naturally, if you have a preterm, it is tailored towards the needs of the preterm. And you don't have this in the commercial formula. So it is one of the unique and most, cost-effective feed and ideal for the child. And when we talk about modern terms, we have even other countries that are giving women 1 year leave to be able to breastfeed. And there's a lot of scientific evidence to show that breast milk is the gold standard. So we should make all efforts to support mothers to breastfeed.
I would add to say that you can put a price on formula. You cannot put a price on breast milk.
The liquid
it is
gold.
priceless.
Yeah. Priceless.
It is liquid gold. So when you say something is priceless, it shows its superiority, its value, right? That you can't put a number on it.
And I'm sure these formulas are just an imitation of what the breast milk is.
They
nowhere close.
Yes, we will not even. Yes.
To that. Okay. Now, what is the government of Ghana doing to make breastfeeding easier for mothers, especially when they return to work?
So we have what we call the LI 1667, and it is one of Ghana's greatest achievements in our journey to support, protect, and promote breastfeeding. And it's been a huge milestone. It is Ghana's version of the global code to preventing the marketing of breast milk substitute. And since the election of this law, it has ensured that there is an end to promotion and advertisement of infant formula. At the time, there were a lot of promotions and advertisement, even in our health facilities, training of health workers and mothers on how to use the formula, and subsequently giving them free samples. So once these mothers got home, they would try to use the samples, and eventually the breastfeeding stops. Yes, so there was a need for the government to come up with this legislation, and it has been very, very helpful because it has ensured that the commercial, companies do not have access to our health facilities, prevent them from promoting and advertising. And it is not only on infant formula. We talk about infant formula is looking at 6 to 1 year. We also have the growing milk, which is 1 to 3 years. And it means that you don't have to have any advertisement on these ones, no promotion in our market, public places, health facilities, and directly to mothers. So since these, we have realized that there's been the need to rather advocate for recommended, infant feeding practices to empower the healthcare person to support the mothers. And our facilities have tried to become more baby friendly. And we have chalked a lot of successes. In the past, we had a lot of infant illness. And as we speak, that has reduced, and it has reduced our infant mortality. So the law it has brought a lot of impact, and we have seen that it is something that we need to do. On the flip side, you realize that once the law was ignited, the industries lost because they couldn't promote and advertise their food. But what they do is that they try to find other ways to get food to the mother, but not to through the health care worker. So what we are saying is that we want to ensure that we have the support systems. Food and Drug Authority is enforcing the law, and we also have the minister having the oversight of the law. So this has been very, very, very helpful. And we've even been able to also ensure that our partners, anybody that is working with the government, it's in line in terms of the legislation and do same. So the effort will be more towards promoting breastfeeding.
Now, Dr. Nett, from a workplace perspective, what role can employers and companies play in creating a breastfeeding friendly environment?
Within Ghana, we have about 65% of women in the workforce today. So now more than ever, it's important that there are sustainable structures in place to support women to exclusively breastfeed. Women work not only in the formal sector, you also have even more women working in the informal sector. And so these structures need to ensure that they cater to the peculiar needs of women in these different places. Within formal structures, workplaces can ensure that they have adequate maternity leave that aligns with the International Labour Organization's recommendations to ensure that women can exclusively breastfeed. You can support by ensuring that there's an adequate space to support lactation, expression of breast milk or breastfeeding when she's back at work, and offer her flexible time to ensure that she can take breastfeeding breaks, but also if she needs to work, from home or how to the level that flexibility is possible, it should be considered for such women. within the informal structures, there are also community-based mechanisms that could be set up to ensure that women have some support by organizing women into associations or unions in the market or wherever they, you have a congregation of women who are engaging in some form of business activity. There could be some support for them. Let's say, for example, a market association could assign a space within a market as their breastfeeding space. So this is an area where a woman can go comfortably breastfeed with her baby, a space where the community health worker from the nearby facility can visit and provide her support, guidance, and any other thing she may need. It also becomes a space where you can receive peer-to-peer support. That's one of the strongest things. Having somebody who has experienced the same thing, be your support, be your partner on this journey. So there different ways from both the formal and informal sector that should be prioritized to ensure that women are systematically and sustainably supported in Ghana to exclusively breastfeed.
And now, finally, looking ahead, what bold, specific actions would you like to see from, the government and its partners in the next year to promote, protect, and support breastfeeding nationwide?
So I'll start off by saying again that breastfeeding is everybody's job, and we all have a role to play in this. First of all, to the government and partners, ideally we would like to see continued and increased budget allocations for nutrition programs, which include programs that support breastfeeding, which ensure that health workers get adequate training and support and can support women to breastfeed. We'd like to see adequate implementation, monitoring and enforcement of the nutrition policy and the legislative instrument 1667 that regulates the marketing of breast milk substitutes to ensure that these laws are actually doing what they have been set up to do. Again, saying it's the role of all of us. So from community leaders to family members to the women themselves, to ensure that they all play the role that they need to do by encouraging, supporting in any way to ensure that women around them can exclusively breastfeed. To the people in the workplaces, to the managers, to the owners of corporations, to consider breastfeeding as an investment in the nation and ensuring that they have structures within their organizations to support women. And to you, I would say to ensure that you help amplify this message, and not only during World Breastfeeding Week, but this becomes a repeated advocacy and communication ask to ensure we get the message out there to promote exclusive breastfeeding. I
promise to handle this baton very well and raise a hand.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Any final words to our viewers?
I'd like to encourage all the women out there, especially the working women. They can breastfeed and they can do it exclusively for 6 months. If they need support, they should visit the healthcare facilities. They can express their breast milk and they can even keep it for up to 6 months. So they shouldn't give up. If they have issues, they should contact us for support. And to all the spouse, the other family members, we advocate for support to be able to help the mother to breastfeed. And to all of us, breastfeeding is a gold standard. As human, the first and best food that you need is the breast milk that will help you to grow well. We need a future where our children will have good intellect, will be smart, and then we have a healthy population. So we are calling everybody on board. Our grandparents, the grannies, we know you help a lot, and we would need you to support us to be able to achieve this. Yeah, thank you.
All right, so to our viewers, there you have it. It says that breastfeeding is the gold standard and also leads to healthy babies and even a healthy population. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's Update in Focus. See you on the next one.